Let me say good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever part of the world you are joining us. We want to say welcome to the Marius TV. Tonight we are here with another great uh, edition of the Marius TV show. Wherever part of the world you are joining us, we want to say welcome. We encourage you, please do not forget to like, share, and make your comments. Tonight we are going to be having with us one of our own senior brother again, Mr. Lee T. Gibson, who is going to be our guest for tonight. And we're going to have a series of conversations surrounding the fundamental intergenerational ethics. There are a lot of us, uh, we are not preparing ourselves for today. We are not preparing, sorry, ourselves for tomorrow. Those things that those laws and rules that we made today is going to help, going to harm us. We are still doing these things. Some things that we are doing today that are going to be a serious challenge or challenges for us. Yes, still we are still practicing it because we have to prepare our minds. We have to prepare ourselves, for the future. We usually say we are the future leaders. Apart from us being the future, everything that we do today, are we looking at the future that these things are going to affect us? So tonight is going to be a great discussion with our own host, Mr. Lee T. Gibson. He's just joined us. We want to say to all of our followers, thanks for always being on the Miles TV. We are here um, Wednesday, Friday, and then that of Saturday. Today marks Wednesday, where we are also seeing a lot of our brothers and sisters from Liberia who are graduating from the University of Liberia. So in this light, we want to say for on behalf of the Miles TV, we extend our congratulations message to you. We say, have yourself a great time. Do not sit there after having your degrees. Try to make use of those degrees that you people have gathered today. We want to say, congratulations to everybody, and we wish you all the best in your academic sojourn. So, having said that, we would like to listen to our guest, at least for a brief introduction. Maybe there are some of our people who are just joining today so they can try to understand. Mr. Lee T. Gibson, welcome, and we are glad to have you this evening with us.
Yeah, thank you, Myers. Thank you for the invite again. So let me say good morning from my end to the world, wherever you are. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. So my name is Lee T. Gibson. I am a Liberian student studying in China and a first year student in the master program of project management. So it is always good to be here to share our knowledge, to share our ideas, our thoughts, and our experiences. So thank you for the invite, Myers. Thank you, and I look forward to having a great show tonight. Please share the link with him, please.
Okay, okay. Thank you so much. I'll definitely do in a subsequent time. So, Afra, you, my brother, you've been, I think Afra been facing some serious problem when it comes to his internet, but I believe that everything has been resolved. And tonight, Afra is our co-host on the show. Let's listen to you, my brother. What you have to say to the people before we go through the discussion. Mind you, tonight discussion is very essential. We're going to talk about the fundamentals of intergenerational ethics. Is something that is so serious and is causing problem for us. We are not looking at it today, but tomorrow we're going to face the same way our parents, some of our parents, like me say, and guardians, they did some things that today affecting us as an individual. And if we don't try to retrospect on those things or try to think otherwise from the box, it's going to be a serious one for us tomorrow when it comes to the future as well. So this topic is so interesting. But before we start with our guest tonight, let's hear from you, Alfred. What you have for us today?
Thank you so much, my brother Myers.
I mean, you
Thank
low,
you.
you very low.
Are you getting me now? Are you getting me?
Yeah.
Okay, so okay, like I said, okay, thank you so much, my brother Myers. Thank you so much. So, like you rightly said, I kind of been facing network issue. That's why for the past for sure I kind of been asking. So everything has been resolved now, and I am back on our platform again. Once again, to our followers, I'm Alfred Timor, your co-host for tonight, and to our guest, Mr. Lee T. Gibson. I'm so happy to see. Like I used to always say that whenever I see you on this platform, I know what we actually going to get. I know the outcome of it because I believe in you. I have faith in you. I trust in you. I know what you can do. I know what you will deliver on this platform. So tonight again is another episode of our religious topic. So to our fathers, we say that you should just remain calm. You should keep your questions on pen and paper, probably in your comment section, or when the call lines open, you can actually post your question there and keep the ball rolling. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Afra, and thanks to our guests again for that brief introduction. So, before we start our ball rolling tonight, we want to take a short musical break. We want to encourage you as you are watching, please like, share, and comment. The phone line will be open tonight. You can also make a call to be part of this discussion for tonight. So, let's take a few seconds musical break and then we get back and start the conversation.
Encouraged, the journey began, building a platform for every man. Through trials and growth, the light stayed strong, turning every challenge into yeah. Oh, my TV, light in the world. My TV, shine on the screen. Voices of hope, living the dream. From Africa's heart to the world will see. Truth and culture. My TV, my TV, bringing light each day. Stories that guide us, show the way. One love, one voice, one destiny. Welcome to the future, Maya's TV. A vision was born with a purpose so true. But when I'm Myers, we honor you. With faith encouraged, the journey began, building a platform for every man. Through trials and growth, the light stayed strong, turning every challenge into
Okay, so I want to say welcome back. Welcome wherever you are joining us from tonight. Welcome again. We want to say good evening, good afternoon, and welcome to another great edition of the Myers TV show. We are excited tonight, like I said before, to have our own senior brother with us on this platform, Mr. Lee T. Gibson. Mr. Lee T. Gibson, you know our topic for today. We want to look at the fundamentals of intergenerational ethics. Like as previously stated, this thing is something that's going to cause a serious problem for our generation. Are we thinking that in the next 4 to 5 years, how things is going to be and how we should prepare ourselves? And what are those laws and regulations we should have in our present day, that won't damage us for the future? We see nowadays our people talks about child right and other things. Because of that particular law today, a lot of our African parents, had that the way they used to be, the way they grew up and other things. Because of the law, they are no more implementing those rules and regulations that they gather from their own parents as well. Because the kind of law we have, that have made our society to be the way it should have been. So these are things that we're going to look at tonight, and we're going to talk about intergenerational ethics. That we said we have to prepare ourselves for the future, because if we don't prepare, if we don't set some criteria, some basic criteria, the future tomorrow is going to be a very serious problem, for us. So tonight, joining you, we want to go straight into the introduction. Why do you make of the topic tonight, talking about the fundamentals of intergenerational ethics? Can we start with you, Mr. Gibson?
Well, thank you very much, Myers. When we talk about intergenerational ethics, we are talking about basically the future and what the future holds and what can we do to safeguard our future. So it has to do with our actions, it has to do with our characters, it has to do with our decisions and everything. So whenever we are in the midst of those things, we should be careful, and we should be mindful of the outcome of whatever decision or whatever actions that will be made, because it may have consequences in the future. And uh, the worst thing about it is that you are not sometimes going to bear the consequences of your actions, but rather the future generations, are the ones that are going to bear the consequences of your actions. So when I was reading my Bible, I think the book of Jeremiah chapter 29, it talks about something that says, it says the parents eat the grape and the children, they bear the sourness. So it tells you that the parents, they worst, they did whatever that they did in the past, and then their children were, bearing the consequences of whatever they did. And if you can recall, also there's a scripture too in the Bible that says, when God says that I'm going to punish you even up to the third generation. So imagine a sin that was committed, or a sin that will be committed by the first generation, is going to, is going to affect the second up to the third. So it just tells us that intergenerational ethics, it should be something that we should look at critically, because if we are not careful, we are not going to, safeguard our future for our children. So thank you for the opportunity and the question.
Thank you so much for that. Alfred, here's a question, my brother, before we go back to our guest. What you made of this particular topic tonight, where we are discussing generational ethics. What do you make of it tonight, Alfred?
Okay, thank you so much. So, as my brother was speaking, uh, you know, there is something just come to my mind. In the first century, the Jews, there was a concept we call the corporate solidity. For example, if you read the book of Romans chapter 8, Romans chapter 5 rather, they say that two one men sin, make all men a sinner. So that means that when Adam sinned, he might have sin in him. So actually, the corporate solidarity means wherein that if we both link together, for instance, I have my parents, right? And then whatever thing my parents do, like the punishment also being transferred to me, also being transferred to me in certain ways that I'm going to be punished because of the sin or because of the act that was actually done by my parents. So that's you get about the concept about the intergenerational ethic. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Alfred, and thanks to everyone who are joining us tonight on this platform. We are so excited to have you people here. And then we want to run straightly into the discussion. Mr. Lee, like you basically said, right? Those things that that we have to do, and every one of us are saying the same thing. Those things that we have to do, and if we don't do them, it's something that's going to cause us serious harm. Mr. Lee, in a practical form, let's look at the parents. What role do you think parents play when it comes to the entire intergenerational ethics, in preparing maybe the child? What do you think should be the significant roles of the parents in this particular topic?
Okay, so Maya, that's a very great and beautiful question that we must, all contribute to. And this thing is broad, right? And we are talking
Yeah.
about the family, and they are like the center point when it comes to this intergenerational ethics, because at the end of the day, they are the foundation. So if the family, if the foundation of the family is destroyed, then there is an issue. There is an issue in the society. So we should look at this intergenerational ethics from a broad sense, because it is not just, it is not something that, you just think about, the present moment, what your children will have to eat at that moment, what they will have to, what you will have to send them to school. You should also think about their future, their future when you are not around, when you will no longer be around. What may becomes of them? So the families, the family plays a key role in this intergenerational ethics discussion that we have here today. One of the things that sets more people back is that their parents back in the past, they made some mistakes and they made some wrong decisions. Their characters and what have you. It was so bad. They did not give reasons, or they did not consider the future, what may be the outcome of the future. So at the end of the day, they were just looking at the current situation at that time. So they did not take the wrong decision, the right decision. So at the end of the day, their children now are bearing the consequences. A lot of us today, some of us, we may not have been here or at this level we are, because the reason why some of us we are at this level, maybe our financial level or our educational level, whatever, because our parents took some wrong actions in the past. So it kind of like is affecting us right now. So we have to fight for ourselves, we have to struggle for ourselves, and we have to do everything for ourselves to rebuild our life, because our family or our parents, they did not build our foundation. So at the end of the day, we are in society, we become liability, we become we become like we become criminal, because in as much your foundation is not built, not everyone, but maybe if you are given an opportunity, because you are not fully let's say organized or something, it might influence you to do the wrong thing. So because of that, we have so many attitudes that we have exhibited, all because our foundations are not built. So it derived from the family, and the family should take a key actions in this intergenerational ethics that we are talking about. Thank you, Myers.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that answer, Mr. Lee. We're gonna look at we're gonna look at another thing when it comes to last week we were discussing identity, we were discussing character, uh, looking at the world we live in today, and we are discussing about intergeneration ethics, right? What role do characters and then that of true identity plays when it comes to intergenerational ethics? What role do you think they play there?
Like you talk about the characters and
Yeah,
what else? Yeah.
yeah. We talk about character and identity. What role do you think they play when it comes to intergenerational ethics?
Yeah, so I think in my mind they played a key role too, because your characters, the way you behave, the way you act, is going to help to give that reputable, name to your family in the future. So if you are no longer around, people are going to identify your family, your children, by your name, because you have, because you have exhibited a good character, you have made a good name, and so that name alone, it has some level of benefit to your to your children. It has some level of benefit to your family, something. So tomorrow if they go anywhere, they can be recognized and they can be respected because of your character, because of your identity. So if we are fighting to safeguard our future, we should have our characters and our identity. It should allow, it should be long lasting. It should not be a short term, or stuff that we're just going to do for the moment and something like that. So we have to play key role. We have to pay key attention to that, our character and our identity, because it will chase us tomorrow. For example, look at some of the names today. Some of past people that live. Look at their names. Or when you hear some of their names today, what comes to your mind? It's just negativity, because maybe in the past they did so many wrong and something like that. In the Liberian history, there was a brutal police commander. I just forgot his name, and they said he died in plane crash. And it's like his death. Whenever people hear about this fellow name, they always have bad things to say. They always have something to say. They said he was like this, he was like that. So imagine his children. Imagine his family. So at the end of the day, going to live after them too. So that character or that identity that he portrayed, is something that that lives after him. So I think it's kind of a land, and we should also be, we should try to work on everything. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Lee. So tonight, another question, Mr. Leader. You have to provide some more details on this question here, right? Do present generation have a moral obligation to future generation? And a follow up by saying, what does the responsibility looks like in policy or daily life when it comes to our topic tonight?
Okay, so thank you. I believe that the present generation has a moral obligation to the future generation. If that had not been the case, then you and myself today, everything that we are enjoying, it wouldn't have been so. We are enjoying all of those things because we have our past parents, we have the past generation that stood up and they took some good actions and they implemented good policies that make you and myself today we are enjoying what we are enjoying. So I believe that the the present generation is obligated to the future generation. So that is why we today in the world you see that they have a lot of policies that come in, or especially the sustainable development goals and what have you, where they want to protect the climate, they want to protect the environment, they want to protect the plants, everything they want to protect them. Why are they protecting them, or why do they want to protect them? They want to protect them because they are looking at the future generation. They have to do that so that the future generation can have something to stay on, can have minerals, can have resources, can have everything. So we are not just like, oh, because we are living at the moment, we should use everything that we have, we should destroy everything that we have. And nothing, we cannot do that. And now you see there are a lot of good policy when it comes to environmental degradation, when it comes to climate change, when it comes to some government policy. So there are a lot of things. People put policy in place for the future generation so that the future generation or the future can be, it can be better. So I think we are obligated to our future. So that's it. And we need to work harder.
Thank you so much. Let me just hold you there. Philip, like I asked this question, sorry, Alfred, what do you make of this particular question, my brother? Sorry, I'm sorry for me calling you Philip. What do you make of the question, right? We talking about do present generation have moral obligation to future generation? And it says, what does that responsibility looks like in policy or daily life? What do you think it look like? Right? What are those obligations in your own mind that you think we have when it comes to the future, the future to come, right? So what you think of that particular question, Alfred? Let's hear from you.
Okay, okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, my brother. I was actually ready, wanted to talk on the key rules the family plays on the intergenerational ethics. If you don't mind, I will actually like for you to give me a few minutes so I can get stuck on the families rules that they play in intergenerational ethics, and then I will answer your question that I've been asked, if you don't mind, my brother. So,
Okay,
but
okay.
for
After we'll come to that. I think we will come to that. The second segment, I know you're going to take over, and then we'll come to that. But let's because we want to take it step by step. Let's discuss the
okay,
issue right now. We will come to that. That's very important. Our people need to know about that.
okay. So you were asking about the obligation that the future generation plays in intergenerational ethics, right?
Sure.
Okay, now, so for the obligation for the youth, the future generation to play in intergenerational ethics, it actually based on from what we actually learned from our parents. Because now, take into consideration what we will actually give to the future generation is what that we are that is what that actually comes from our parents. For example, was the ever training that I received, was the ever habit, probably language barrier, was the ever thing that I actually received when I was actually growing up that I learned throughout my entire childhood time or other time, that would be the same thing I will actually impose into my children, impose into the next generation that will actually come. So now the obligation for we the youth the changes that need to be made is for us to actually look back at some of these mistakes, some of these things. For a typical example, our parents was let's say our parents is our first teachers. These are people that actually taught us because at that time when we were young, we there was no government around, there was no institution or religious background that was around us. Oh, they were actually teachers. The environment we found ourselves in at that time, it was actually from our parents. It was actually in our homes that we both grew up in. So now at this point, uh, whatever thing we learn today, it comes from that era. So we passing through that, we are seeing all these mistakes that were actually made. We are seeing all these things that are actually made, all these mistakes that are made by our parents or that are made in our homes, but our elders one. Now we our obligation now is to correct these mistakes, is to change these mistakes and make sure that the future generation that will come will not experience the same mistakes that we experience or our parents made or that we are making right now. Because if we allow such mistakes to repeat itself, then that means that you will see there will be a lot of differences from our generation. For typical example, you can even see such differences to be real nowadays in our present generation in the 21st century right now. You see there are a lot of differences right now. You will see that you can see the differences between a child that was actually grew up let's say an individual that grew up from 2000, 2001, 2002, and then you'll see a difference from a child that grew up from that came into the world from 2010, 2011, 2012. You will see a lot of differences there. You will see a lot of differences because the mistake is not being corrected, but it is like it being made repeatedly, and then also another one is kind of being added onto it right now, where in technology have advanced in the world. People are seeing different things from different countries. People are seeing different things from different cultures. You see, people now are trying to adapt to new things, to things that actually spoil the future generation. So now our obligation is right now for us to actually correct these mistakes to make sure that they cannot repeat itself. Because if they do so, that means that our children will also be affected from it. That means that our grandchildren will also be affected from it. So our brother will also be affected. So the only thing we can do right now is for us to change this narrative, is for us to change those mistakes that were made by our parents and those mistakes that was made by us too as well. Because in consideration, we that comes from 2000 from 1999, we all made the same mistakes because we were not able to correct the mistakes for us to change for us to change that mistake to make sure that our youngest one from 2010 or upward for them to not experience those mistakes or we allow it to happen now, things have gone the other way around, and then that you see that the world is shifting in different dimensions. So the only thing we can do right now is for us now to change, for us to correct those mistakes and make sure that the future generation to come will not experience the same thing. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Alfred. Thank you for that brilliant answer. Tonight it's such a wonderful night, like I said previously, discussing this issue that has to do with the intergenerational ethics, because there are a lot of us, we are lacking a preparation. We are moving very slow. And like you stated, Alfred, you talked about technology. There are a lot of us, we are behind, most especially when we look at our country. The world is advancing on a daily basis, and our people are yet still to understand these things. We are still thinking one-sided. We are not Our brains are not being open to certain things that we need to know. Alfred, I know you can be a witness of that. Since you came to India, you can testify, like Mr. Lee as well. Since you went to China, you can also testify that there are some knowledge, some understanding you have gotten, right, that make you to look at the future to predict, some of these things are going to happen, because we all live in an advanced country, right? And some of these things we see around us, it make us feel like, in the next, 2 to 3 years to come, things is going to be like this, right? But let's look at what role, Mr. Lee T. Gacy, what role do you think government should play when it comes to reducing the mentality of young people not looking at the future, not looking at the 2 to 3 years to come, those things that is going to help us, right? What role do you think government should play to make youth to open their minds, let's say youth in general, to open their minds to look at the future very carefully? Because we are discussing tonight on intergenerational ethics. What role do you think the government should play?
Okay, thank you, Myers. The government has a huge role to play in this matter, and they have a lot of work to do. So, starting from policies, making Google policies to, improve lives, building infrastructures and, educations and, empowering young people, everything involved. So the government has huge work to do when it comes to this intergenerational ethics. But mind you, let me speak on the Liberian context. The reason why our country is behind today, it is because of this intergenerational ethics. In the past, our past leaders, our past generation, they did not look at this. They did not, invest more time in this. That's the reason why you see today the University of Liberia can just, contain few students. It is not large to that extent. That is why today in other places, that even our capital building, see the space, see the when let's say see the chamber, very small, right? Because in the past they were not very futuristic to know that, oh, tomorrow the population will grow. Look at our roads in our country. They just build lane, one lane, because at that time the population was less, and they did not look at the future generation, that, oh, tomorrow there will be an increase in the population, so therefore we should do it like this, we should do like this and do like that. They did not pay key attention to that. And now in our present generation, we have our present government who, they are not also looking in that direction. In fact, they are following the steps of the past generation, and we are, risking the future generation, because there are issues that are, training every time, every day in our country, but our leaders, they are not taking action, they are not putting policy in place, they are not, erecting checkpoints and something, things just happening. They are not looking at the future. Now everybody is just concerned about their future, their present, their family, and what have you. We are not looking at the country future. That is why in that country, everybody, we, like in the government, everybody just doing everything for their own personal benefit. But the government has huge responsibility. And number one, they should implement policy. When you implement policy that will improve the life of the citizen, that will help the citizen to empower them, so that tomorrow in the future you have reputable people in the economy, you have business people, you have educated people in the economy. But if we are not looking that direction, and we just want to, have everything for ourselves or for the moment, then we are risking the future generation. So the government has huge role to play. And if we want to name them, we can name them, and we will not end there tonight. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. So I just want to ask you this question before we go forward. I don't want it, to leave my head. You talked about policy making, right? You being an individual now who is thinking twice when it comes to thinking so fast when it comes to the generation, the next generation to come, or let me say the future. What do you think gonna be the first two major policy that should be implemented within a country or society, that's going to help citizens or dwellers, to be in line with the way the world is going, or the way the future is going to take us to be in line with it. What are those ethics, right, or those policies that should be passed in your own mind? What do you think those major policy, let's say one or two?
Okay, so I think there are a lot of policy that should be passed to improve our country, but for now, I think in my mind that there should be a strong policy against corruption, because it hits every spectrum of our society. It affects every sector of our society. It is because of corruption. Many people are dying because of insufficient drugs at the various hospitals. clinics, and health centers. It is because of corruption that today at the University of Liberia, students are running around with chairs, from one class to another class. It is because of corruption that the country is very small with just a little, like 5 to 6 million people, that people still struggling to go to school in our country. It is because of corruption. So if we implement policy like, or that will prevent people from, from corruption, and what if you are caught in corruption, where you will be, you will be punished, and you will be punished, and we will see it. So at the end of the day, people now, will start to do everything right, and in doing that thing right, it will improve the country, it will improve the future generation, because we will be in power, and we will benefit everything that we need to benefit from the government. And once we are, the direct beneficiary, mind you, our future generation, we will save our future generation, we safeguard them, because we have been empowered. Last policy that I think in my mind that, the government should implement, it has to do with, the issue of this, or how do you call it, the issue of implementations, oversight and other things, because we may have the Google laws, but implementation is lacking, and we should do away with this political party stuff, and we put the country interest first. Policy should be made that there is no president, or there is no minister is loyal to a political party. You are loyal to the state. So if that minister does wrong, he should be penalized by the state. He should not be left, and he should not go free because of his political alignment. So I think we need to dismantle that stuff in Liberia so that we can do better. So thank you, Myers.
Thank you so much. Alfred, so the question also to you. Do you have anything to say on that before we go to our guest?
You can re-ask the question again, my brother.
Okay, so we are talking about what are some policy, right? Looking at the way our country or our society has been run, what are some major policy, that should be placed, that should be put in place, that will help us, to not be effective, uh, the future to come or the nearer future to come. What are those policies do you think in your own mind?
Uh, okay. So for me, you see, I will speak. I will help my senior brother. We will also speak when it comes regarding the education side, because if the education side is well straightened, is well composed, I do believe that most of the mistakes won't repeat itself again. So if you actually look at the education style for a while, you will see there are a lot of mistakes that constantly repeat itself. It constantly repeat itself. So one of the key things I think that the government should actually make. Well, okay, now we go to the internet side. You see nowadays students have access to the internet. Like I remember 2005, 2004, 2006. We were actually we actually don't have access to the internet to say, oh, to go back on Google, to do this thing, to do that thing, to do this thing, to do that thing. We never have any idea to those things. Right now, the world have gotten advanced. You see, people have access to this thing. So, for one of the key policies I think the government should set is about restrict of the internet. Like restriction of the internet. Well, when I say restriction of the internet, what does that mean? You see, we as a student in India here, there are certain things we cannot access on the internet. Mas, you get testify with that. There are certain things we cannot access on the internet as a student.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Sure, sure.
There are certain things we cannot access unless we go on certain website. In that website, it will be directly from your school. You have to use your student email. You cannot just access it. There are certain things, and you observe that the internet is well restricted. No matter how you scroll on Facebook all day long in India, you only see your school materials that will come to you. Probably if you are in the medical fees, you will see medical things coming to you, maybe about medical laboratory, about anesthesia, and you just doing the medical courses and other things. Me, I'm doing IT. Most of the things I come across on Facebook, you will see it will be cybersecurity, data analysis, or other things that are related to my field of studies. These are things that will come to me. But bro, if you like bro, you go up before you make that money, you see the other person doing this thing, the other person doing these things, people on TikTok here and there. So if the internet is actually restricted, if the internet is actually being restricted to students, there are certain things there are certain things that they cannot be able to access, there are certain platforms they cannot be able to access, there are certain things you cannot be able to see. This thing will actually help the future generation. And take into consideration too as well, if we enter into the school too, we should understand there are certain lessons, there are certain policies should be taught. Bro, we comes to India today. Yes, we will see that the people learning system is difficult, but but it was because that back home we never experienced those policies. We never experienced the kind of structural learning system. Like I don't know about university, but for my university, bro, like in you understand that you cannot even go to school, you can just to your house and then so you have call on campus, you call your company, say, just mark my attendance. And then
It
your
doesn't
attendance
work
being
here.
marked.
It doesn't work
At
here.
all,
You have,
it
yeah,
does not
everything.
work it like that. You have to go on campus from Monday to Friday, and sometimes your class is from 9 to 5. And then each class you make your attendance drop. And if you have below 75 attendance in overall attendance, that means that you won't read your NT exam and you're going to be detained. And after being detained from a university, you will get backlog. That means that you have to pay $250 US just for one course. So imagine if you are being detained for about 9 courses. So calculate $250 times 9. Do you know how much you are going to spend? Even equivalent to your school fees. Equivalent to your school fees. So you see those policies that have been set in university. Yes, I didn't attend any let's say primary school in India, but I do believe that they have systems that have been set. They have policies that have been set. They have things that have been set. That's why you see even the students in the university era, you see they are not actually complaining about this system because they have experienced it in a primary time. So now they being in university, it's not something that's giving them tough time, giving them hard time anymore because they have experienced all these things. So our government actually need to look at some of these things. Yeah, like bro, like in Liberia, you see, oh, you see the other person just woke up. Oh, see, the other person just woke up and just say, oh, the politician, the all this, the all of that. Bro, since I entered in there, that I don't even remember when last I even heard about that. Yes, I was in India when India had the previous election, the district elections. I was here, but one day I didn't hear that politics are being discussed on campus, classes are being disrupted, this are being happening. I didn't hear that. I've never heard that. So if all these rules, all these policies are being set is very, very strict, I surely believe that our future generation won't facing these things. Thank you.
You said a lot. Thank you so much for that. That's a very good thing. You said, Mr. Lee. Let's come back to you. Whatever was speaking, these things right to my mind. Uh, this question came to me, Mr. Lee. Let's look at what are those methods you think we can use, right, to eradicate when it comes to the issue of having a bad intergenerational ethics, right? What are those things that we need to eradicate from our society, that is harming our society today? That yes, indeed, people are not really preparing, or people are not looking at the society. What are those things that you think we need to get rid of? We need to eradicate from our society that will help us to have a very strong, backing when it comes to academic, to when it comes to uh, economists and what have you, right? When it comes to environmental protections and other things, all these things. What are those things that you think in your own minds, we have to eradicate them in order to face the challenges and be able to prepare ourselves for the future?
Well, Myers, in the Liberian context, we have so many, so many, so many in every sector, everywhere. So we have so many, but we have to take into consideration key factors, that leading to, all of those factors. So But let me first start with the internet connectivity, as Alfred was mentioning, right? So, like he said, he already stated that it is true. Other countries, they control the media, they control the technology, they control the cyberspace. He is right. In Liberia, we should, implement policy. Our internet system and our let's say our digital appearance, in Liberia is like causing more harm to our society, because someone will just work hard and come online, open a platform called maybe content or what have you, and then they start to share whatever they want to share. Look at some of the content creators today in Liberia when they try to interview some of those young girls in Liberia. Their discussion, their questions will not be on us, societal issues. It will not be on the moral issues, moral value, and something that will educate people and what have you. But instead, it would just be about sex. You will hear this question: what's your body counts? First next time, how do you love it? We position all the stuff there, and our young people, our children are watching. So all these things have effect on the future generation, because that child or that children, they are growing, seeing these things. So at the end of the day, tomorrow we will not have better people in our society. We will have the same people repeating. In fact, they will just be growing up in numbers. So I think we should put policy on that. We should control, the government should implement policy when it comes to that digital space. There should be policy being implemented. Other countries are doing that. There is nothing wrong with that. China here, they are doing that. Morocco, they are doing that. India are doing that. So there are a lot of countries that are doing, even the Great America, they are doing that. Not everything that happens in America can be, can be heard or can be seen on the social media. They control everything that they want to control, and what they want you to know or what they want for the children to know. That's what they put out. So that's it. I think we should work or that digital appearance and what have you. And the next thing we should work on is the education system. The education is a bedrock of any nation, Myers. But the way in which we have treated our education system in our country is very bad. It's very, very bad, dangerous. Imagine today your high school graduate cannot even, compose well, cannot even speak a little good English, because the education system has been damaged, has been deployable to the extent that, everything now, everybody just after passing. They are not after what they can learn, that that will help them in future tomorrow. They are just after passing. Even the schools, you cannot train the children from junior high to senior high and try to prepare them for wire or wise to send them, and then you follow them again to go and show them answers. So these are things that really it destroying our society, and I think the government should look at that. If they can implement policy, they build infrastructure, invest in educations, and come up with Google policy and regulations. You see, our education system will be improved. But in as much they are not doing those things, and everybody will just do everything they want to do, and at the end of the day, no one has any value for or have any interest in the interest of the future. So Myers, I think we have a lot, but those are just two that I've thought to mention. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Gibson. I hope all of our followers, you are following tonight, and there where we are discussing this issue. It's something that is really affecting our society today, and we have to speedily look at it, because if we don't look at it, these are people where they are referring to us as future leaders. Where we are looking at ourselves as a future leaders. If we cannot put these methods in place, tomorrow is going to be serious problem for us. And like you said, Mr. Lee, keep guessing. Looking at our digital setting, right? You see, anybody will just come and then just post anything on the social media. Look at India here. Everything you want to post, the first thing you see, they are verifying everything you want to post. They want to know whether that content you are posting is something that is good or something that is bad. You understand it? But our content is not like that, and we take it very lightly in our country. Let's take for example that way I brought the issue of the parents in. There are some parents who even watch their children, being that kind of error. You understand it? They will ask somebody, what when your friend is taking out, I'm mentioning it all the time, when your friend is taking H2O, right? And what will you tell your friend? Looking at your child, right? Because it's something that the internet, everybody has access to it. And somebody will be saying that I will tell them to stop this and that. And then these are people, when they ask, they are saying they are from they are calling classes that we feel like people from that particular class should be able to, have knowledge when it comes to that thing, but do not have. Okay, if you don't know, one of the things, Mr. Lee, we look at, like, if you don't know, why you cannot ask someone to explain to you so you can get a clear understanding. There are most of us, we feel so proud, and then that's how we are making mistakes today. And when once these mistakes cannot be corrected, it's going to be a serious one for us in our society. It's going to be seriously harmful for us. You understand it, right? Because look at, we have 3 to 4 years from now. Do you know where Liberia is heading? Let's talk about on the Liberian setting. Do you know where Liberia is heading? And if the future, if we the generation now, we cannot prepare our minds, we cannot prepare our thinking, the way we do things, if we cannot construct ourselves in our way or form of manner, at the end of the day, we will be rejected by society. That's why we say today, all the people will bring other people from outside the country, will bring people, to come and get all these things from us, because we fail to understand. You understand? We fail to realize that these are things that, that we don't have knowledge on, and we need to have knowledge on it. We need to make sure and practicalize them, because it will affect us seriously. And tonight we are here, to all of our followers, we are discussing a very interesting topic. We talk about the fundamentals of what intergenerational, what ethics. You understand that there are rules and regulations that should guide everybody, every one of us, right? Because if you don't have the rules and regulations, if you don't have the discipline in you, tomorrow when you go out there, what will you do? Let's take for example that when we look at let's talk look at this, right? You being a child, you live for your parents. They are training your child, your parents put within you, right? But you getting out there and proving them wrong to other people, doing things that is not necessary. We look at on the cultural, let's say our tradition or cultural side after Mr. Gibson. See how our society today our culture and society today has been a big disgrace. See how it has been today. When you learn previously, right, those things that used to happen previously when it comes to our society and other things, these things are not happening again. Everybody are stealing. They say we are living in a modern world, so we want to live like the Westerners. And I tell people, it is not our culture or tradition. Do not permit us to be like that. And if our governments, right, or our leaders cannot find means to minimize or eradicate these things, they cannot take a major action against this thing, tomorrow our society will be headed starter. Our society will be headed starter. Like I had a conversation with somebody, I said, no matter how the government can build the most beautiful buildings in our country there, if you don't change the mindset of the people, they will get out one some money and destroy that building with that angerness. They will destroy that building with no regret, because their mind have not been trained, to certain things. So I think today we need to provide, like we are here tonight, right? We are providing some of the informations, and some of our people who are watching, you have to share this information, because we need to prepare ourselves for the future. The future need us, and how can we be that kind of person that the future can depend on us tomorrow, unless we build our minds, we build our thinking, we think differently from others, we think outside the box. Look at those things that are going to help. Say that and critical thing, Mr. Lee. Like after 2 to 3 years, you make some critical analysis. These are things that are going to be happening. How can I prepare myself to handle these things? We need to know that if we don't do that, it's going to cause serious problem for us. So we will take our short break, and then once we get back, after we're going to start, with you on the conversation, so we can continue with our guests for tonight.
The journey
Okay, okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, my brother Miles. Thank you for our first setup for tonight. So like I said before, I actually do have more interest in the key roles the family plays in the generational ethics. Yeah, because you see, our family uh plays so many key roles in our growth today that we can actually say that whatever thing we learn, it comes from our parents. Uh, like during, during those days in the Asian war, your identity was actually thrown through your family lineage. For instance, they will see you and then they will say, okay, you are from this family, you are from this background, you are from this sector. That's how it was actually was. But nowadays, now you see the person will you see, they will say, oh, you should define yourself, you should tell the public who you are, you should give your own meaning, and so on. But first, to actually understand the key roles the family plays in intergenerational ethics. You see, the key roles that family play in intergenerational ethics, which were first we understand that the family is the primary, or let's say the primary moral institution where ethical values are formed, transmitted, and practiced across generations. Before schools, before government, or before any religious institution influence the person, the family sharpens their moral reasoning and sense of responsibility. Now, now let's look at some major professional dimension that the family plays in intergenerational ethics. We look at the moral formation and character development. The family is the first environment where children learn right and wrong, responsibility, empathy, justice, and accountability. Now, if you look at it, if you look at it, for example, the parents teach the children honestly, establish ethical consistency, teaching respect for elders people, teaching how to respect the elders. You see, I say this and then my mind went to our country that was in India. In Liberia, when you are actually probably when you're actually in a box or probably you're actually seated somewhere, and then when the elder person enter, the first thing you have to do, you have to wake up for that elder person to sit down. You have to wake up for that elder person to have this. Whether you're in boss or whatever thing, you cannot be sitting while elder person is sitting. But I can tell you, I don't know. But that other culture is
Yeah, it's
totally
different. It's different. I feel like you said, even we that stand, right? Because it's part of us, Mr. Lee. You know that, right? That whenever you see elderly people, you have to, even when we stand and give these elderly people seat. Do you know why? They even start to sometimes laugh at you, and the other one start to, say a whole lot of things. So I feel like I just wanted to make that.
yeah. So at all that particular training, I don't know. Oh, let me share a short story. Right when it was 2024, yeah, 2024 if I'm not mistaken. I was actually going Putako, the border between India and Pakistan. I was going to Ahmedabad University. Yeah, I was Mr. Lucili M. Trawali. I was actually going to the former president, vice president of our university is in Liberia. And he's currently doing his PhD in the University of Liberia. So yeah, I was going to Port Harcourt. So I think yes, okay, we went and then on our way back. Yeah, so there are a lot of old people getting the bus. I already have seats. So I was see I saw this old lady that I know that hearing me, I know that she gave birth to my mom. This old lady came and then and sat and nothing but sitting over me. So I was kind of embarrassed. I never grew up with such feeling. Like for me to be sitting and the old person is standing. So I wake up from my seat and allow the old lady to say start down. So I stood up for about probably for about 2 hours and then the bus stopped, the old lady get down. Now I go. The seat I was sitting in now, another young guy come. God, I didn't know that already there. He got sitting in the seat. And then I'm steady. So I didn't talk. I said, okay, maybe he knew I was the one sitting, so no problem. He just said, I just 2 hours more, I will soon reach. I don't have problem. The Indian people are, I'm afraid of that. I'm afraid of that trouble. Then on our way going again, a lot of people into the bus. But they young fellow guy said something, and then all people see even some people holding stage. I was like, wow, like seriously. So this really is not that at all. But now you see, with all this added moral grounding, intergenerational responsibility, the weakest. Now we look at the next one, transmission of ethical across generations. The family transmit core values such as integrity, hard work, stewardship, compassion, and sacrifice. You see, all these things, it actually what? Sharpen the intergenerational, across the intergenerational, the values, ethical values. We look at the next one, teaching responsibility towards the future. The intergenerational the ethics requires thinking beyond oneself. Family teach you saving habits, environment care, respect for shared properties, and what long-term planning. When parent model delayed gratifications and responsible decision making, children learn to consider future consequences. This build what philosophers call future-oriented moral or what consciousness. So the fourth one. We get stewardship of resources. Family function as economic unit that manage financial resources, property, or education opportunities, and what social capital. They teach the children what resources that are not only for personal consumption, but must also be preserved for future memories. We look at the fifth one, which is reform of tradition. Family decide which tradition to preserve, which to reform, which to what abandon. So, okay, I would like to name all, but in short word, I would just like to say that the family actually play a key role in intergenerational ethics, a very key role. Because whatsoever, like I said earlier in my previous statement, whatsoever training we actually take, whatsoever training we actually consume from our parents, is that particular training that we're actually going to give out to the future generation. Because in the last let's say 20, 30, 40 years to come, the future generation will be pointing to us, will be pointing to us to say we are the cause, we are the problem. Because at that time we will be serving as their parents, we will be serving as we will be their head. So they'll be pointing to us. They'll say we are the cause. They'll be saying that we are the one today that caused everything. So now, I would like to ask our guests these questions. I would like to ask our guests, uh, is family loyalty stronger than responsibility to unknown future citizens? Then why?
Okay, so if family loyalty,
Yeah, stronger than responsibility to unknown future citizens, like the unknown future generation. Why? Why? Why we say so? Like family loyalty is stronger. It means it has a stronger responsibility to unknown future generation, the future generation that are not missing. If why make the family loyalty to be very stronger to them?
family loyalty is stronger to future generation. Is that what you mean? Or why family loyalty is stronger than future generation, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I think that is what we are talking about here. A lot of families have, like, they have their own, culture, they have their own, you know, way of doing things. And so at the end of the day, they have to obey, or they have to abide by whatever rules or regulations regarding, I mean, let's say, governing that family. So, like, your question is good, because some people value the family loyalty than the future generation. And I think they both could work together, depends on whether they are aligning with each other. But if the family, if they are loyal to whatever that they believe in, and whatever that they believe in is something that destroys, the future generation, I don't think people should be loyal to that, because after being loyal to that, it's going to cause, more harm in the future. Like, for example, in our Liberian culture, I mean, in our Liberian context, there are a lot of people who went and joined some cults. They went, they did some, they took some oaths. They went to rivers. They went wherever. They went to shrines. They did some things, right? They did some things. They said some words. They sold out some children, or because maybe within that family, or within that group of family, there is this, cultural, and for this culture to keep being existing, you have to obey in whatever rules and regulation. So you have to be loyal to that. So at the end of the day, they sell out the future of the children. Sometimes they sell the womb of the children. I think you are aware, right? They sell the womb. You see some girls in our family, they were not born, or they will not get married, and what of you, all because they are loyal to, to that, that family, rules and regulation, or that family stuff that they are in. So that's that's the thing that I'm saying, that once it is not in alignment to the future, like what we're talking about, you cannot be loyal to things that will destroy your future. You cannot be loyal to things that will destroy the future of your children. Because, mind you, if you destroy the future of your children, meaning you have destroyed the future of the nation, because the nations, comprises of group of family. So if you destroy the future of the family, you destroy the future of the nation. So I think it should be in alignment, whatever culture, whatever thing, they should try to, at least let it be in alignment. But once it's against, it should not be practiced. That's my little man idea on your question.
Okay, thank you so much, thank you so much. When you were just speaking, something just tapped into my mind. Uh, from our popular statement from the 21st, I guess the Gen Z, we 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 always say this is our time. We always say, yeah, this is our time. This is our generation. Uh, we should do this. We should do that. Wherein right now we have a lot of rights. We get human rights, child rights, women rights, this other rights. You just name all those rights that are being placed in the constitution. Yeah. So now it just comes to my mind to actually ask this question to you, Mr. Gibson. And the question say, if every generation of writers it will survive, what would long-term justice ever be possible?
You say, come again?
Okay, the question says, if every generational priorities it will survive, will long-term justice ever be possible?
Well, no. I think every generation should not just prioritize its own, value, or its own, well-being and happiness and what have you. They should, though it is good, but you should always think about, the next generation, what comes after. So you cannot just live for the moment. Like I said, you cannot just live for the moment. You should always think about the consequences of whatever actions or whatever behavior that may be exhibited by you, whatever decisions, whatever steps, whatever ideas, whatever education, whatever things, whatever relationship. You should think about the next generation of that. You cannot just, take decision based on the moment, and you want this to be done at the moment, and you know that it is now a long lasting decision that will help, to improve the feature, that will help to improve, that thing, whether family or what have you. So I think no generation has that moral, responsibility to just cater to itself, and and then forget about the future generation. No, I don't think so. It should not be.
Okay, thank you. The reason I actually asked this question, you will actually understand that nowadays, that particular statement, we have our own time, this is our time, like those statements actually kills the future nowadays. It actually kills because, and then our parents too, who should have rebuked us, they are now saying that, you know, they can see the children time, let the children enjoy their time, let the children do what they want to do. The present generation, they're trying to be too lenient, they're trying to be too open, and then you see, he's trying to go, he's trying to be so rampant, he's trying to go another way now. Because basically, okay, let me see, okay, let's just assume I put myself in the father position, and then I'm seeing my child doing something that is not good, that I didn't grow up that way. And then I was saying, oh, this generation. Oh, maybe actually maybe someone tried to talk, maybe my brother Miles tried to rebuke the child. I said, oh, just forget for the child. Now it's the children time. Let the children do what they want to do. You see? That particular statement to the child, because the next generation after that child will also do the same thing, and then that person will say the same thing, and then these are the things that actually been happening, that actually we actually being brought to this stage today, that the war is going to another place. So to my brother Mars, what do you actually have to say regarding these questions? What actually your intake on these questions?
Thank you, Alfred. I'll start by saying you see what a lot of our people back home do not think twice, in the sense of you are just focusing on your children, where you are there to represent the entire country as well. Your child might be that good person today, but mind you, you are going to leave, and your child is going to leave, going to remain with other people who are around. And if you cannot also look at making those rules and regulations generalizing them, that not just your child but everybody will be able to understand those difficulties and other things. And you just focus on your child. Mind you, when you shall have leave, your child remain there tomorrow. And what's going to become is even the society is even going to be harmful for your child. So every rules and regulation you made must be something that even it shouldn't just for your child's sake. You see, Mr. Gibson and Alfred, a lot of our people today are government figures. I'm not saying it's bad to send your child abroad and other things, right? But while you are doing these things, it's also good that you look at the people too who are back home, because your child might come back tomorrow. That person might come back without good characteristics and other things, right? They had the opportunity to go abroad, but others do not have the opportunity to go abroad. So when they come tomorrow, and other people who are around you, you are not also making them, you are not also doing those, you are not also giving them those full discipline and other things, then they're also going to be a very harm for your child. So after when you look at that question, right, the parents, like I usually say, the parents today, they are to be blamed when it comes to a lot of the things that is happening to us today in our society. The parents, because they just I said it previously on our other show, that the parents only look at the short term setting. They don't look at what's going to happen to that child tomorrow. So the Bible says don't spoil the child and spare the rod, right? A lot of our parents now, those training that we went through, they are no more bringing it to us. They are no more doing it because we don't know what's the problem now, because of the rights and other things. Yes, those rights are very good, but sometimes you have to bring all your child in a way, right, that they won't even be affected. You won't even be affected with that law. You have to bring them on that reference way that you won't even be affected by that law, because the future of that child matters a lot. If you cannot prepare that child, if you cannot put that positive things within that child minds, tomorrow it's going to be a serious harm for them in society. So after I would say the parents, they play a very crucial role in this thing. The parents, they need to do everything possible to make sure that the child get those good understanding or good knowledge that they should have before the future can come. Because if the child is not prepared, it's going to be a very harm for society, and even they themselves, it's going to be a harm for them. Go to the ghettos today and ask a lot of our brothers and sisters who are there. Some of them you understand that yes, indeed, they will tell you that peer pressure, but some of them too, you understand that the parents also play a significant role when it comes to them going, head their starter. Because these same parents, people were telling them these things, right? When they saw their children doing it, like we usually say, a one woman cannot raise a child. You understand? Why you cannot raise a child? Because you won't be around that child for the 24/7, right? That child will go other places, they will meet other people, and there are other people who are watching them. Those attitude that they put up there. When people try to inform the parents, a lot of our parents, right, they love us so much at the end of the day when we are doing bad things, when people enlighten them on it, still they don't understand, still they don't take it in. They just relax themselves. And because of that, if you don't give other people the chance, to when they want to chastise your child as well, you don't give them the chance to do that. At the end of the day, you just decide you want to love the child, you feel like you love the child so much. After sometimes that child will lose from your hands and yourself, you won't be able to hold them. What happened? They become a bad one in the society. They become a bad one for the future now. No more for people to say, oh, we are dependent. That's why you see a lot of people will say today, they're not depending, they will say, but who the people that will come and depend on? Because the forms and manners in which we are developing ourselves. It is not something that we don't want to get advice again. We don't want to live, according to our tradition and culture. We are out of everything we practice, like we discussed previously on social
Um,
media. So I'll stop there
you
for
see,
now, Alfred.
you see, my brother, you see, when you are here speaking, something just comes to my mind. You see, if you go, okay, let's go into the biblical side. If you actually go into the Bible, you actually read the scriptures, you understand that there are two federal headship. We get we get the headship of which is the first one is Adam, and you get the next one which is Christ. So now, if you read Romans, like I quote the scripture before Romans chapter 5 verse 4, they will say two. They said two one man sin enter into the world, and then death come to sin. And then if you read verse 19, they will say that they say that because of Christ, the sin because of Christ's obedience, sin have been destroyed and humanity have been free. So now you understand that through through Adam, because of Adam being our head at that time, we all were made sinner. It's not like we actually sin, but because of Adam, we were all introduced to sin. We all know sin. We all knew death. So I said death come to sin. So the work of the devil actually flow to sin because of Adam, because we were under Adam leadership. Because at that time we were in Adam. But after Jesus came and Jesus died for our sin and he defeated sin, now we all have been free. So, okay, now what am I trying to say? So, has the parent, you being the head of the child, was the everything you do? Like I talk about what the corporate solidarity in the Jewish law, wherein as long I'm laying with you, was the everything you do, it will be affected through me. Because everything you do, it will be a fair thing. Because at that time, they were actually looking at the through family lineage, through your father occupation. Forget about the family lineage, where your family come from, or who's your family. When your family is someone that has very big names, then you will be well recognized in the community, in the society. You'll be well recognized. People will see, okay, if for this family, for instance, if you even want to go and marry, probably the moment I don't know who is the father, call the father in this case. If that family have a very good name or have money, people recognize it immediately. So there is something they call it corporate solidarity. Because of that, like I'm linked, for instance, I'm linked with Mr. Gibson. So was the everything Mr. Gibson do? Me being his little girl, whether I was there or not, I must be affected of it. For instance, typical example, for instance, maybe in kind of facing little problem in China was everything. So the moment I enter into China and they say, oh, okay, who are you? I say, oh, I'm Mr. Gibson. Okay, because of this, you are not doing certain or you are being rejected, blah 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 blah. So these were laws that were actually made. So now we come to the physical side of, or let's go come to our parents side. So what's the ever thing our family do? What's the ever thing our parents do? A man seems to be that is not affecting us immediately, but definitely it won't affect us. Definitely it won't affect us. For typical example, if I grew up in a family When I see in the morning, I see my mom and dad, they screw up and then they abuse each other, they fight each other. What do you expect of me? What
You
do you
also
expect of me?
fight. You also fight. You fight. You
Yeah,
fight a woman. You beat a woman.
yeah, a child who is growing up in that home. You don't expect me to insult my wife to beat on her. You expect me to do so. If I grew up in your home where my father stayed early in the morning and make sure you insult all the ladies in the house, what do you expect of me? You expect me to be very brutal, to be someone that will
Tomorrow.
insult people tomorrow. You expect these things from me. You expect these things from me. You expect all these things from me. So you actually understand that the family play a very crucial role, a very very crucial role. I don't want to go too deep, but basically in my family, I think in some way somehow, I kind of see someone who actually like I would set an example. Basically there are a lot of times the children should be corrected. So we as the elder one, we try correcting them, but we were not able to do it because the only thing is say, oh, do not beat on my child. If you want to do so, go on your own. We as the elder brother, we try to do so. I think my big brother Mr. Gibson can actually reflecting. You actually know what I'm talking about because we both are in the same year. You know what I'm talking about. So because of that, you see there are a lot of mistakes. Yeah, when we were coming on, we actually have our own flaws. We make our own mistakes. Yeah, but our elder one corrected us. Our elder one corrected us. Example, my people don't Mr. Gibson. I cannot be doing something that is wrong, and then Mr. Gibson can say, "Oh, my picking Alfred is doing it wrong. You should do that." Immediately, I listen. It's not like I'm taking him to be my goal or whatever thing, but for that he is my guidance. He's my elder brother. So I believe that he want the good for me. So if whatever thing he told me that this is wrong, I should do. I should do the rightful thing. So thank you, Miles. The platform is yours, my brother.
Thank you so much. Alfred, while you were speaking, this is what came to my mind as well, Mr. Gibson. Now you see, the churches also need to play a very serious role when it comes to this particular topic tonight. We are on intergenerational, ethics, because the life of an individual when it comes to their spiritual life, even the church also play a major role when it comes to moral lives of people. But none of this, Mr. Gibson, I don't know whether we still seeing the church or the churches we used to know before. You understand it? Before then, but people now in our time, our setting today, people don't even have regard for the pastor. Before then, when somebody here say your pastor is, your pastor coming, you see everybody, even if you are fighting or whatever, when you hear that your pastor, coming, you see everybody try to hide themselves, try to make sure that everything can be in place. But Mr. Gibson, we face this, serious challenge or challenges in our time today. What do you think, right, the religious people, or we talk about religious people, can do in order that we cannot face, those challenges to come in the nearest future? Because we are seeing them right now. The respect for church officials again is no more. I don't know. Lot of time you hear pastor will complain. You understand it? Pastor with local member these days and tell member when they are doing some things that they are in error, and they'll say, "No, this one is my life," and other things. So in your own mind, what do you think the religious people can do? What mechanism you think that need to be put in place when it comes to intergenerational ethics of the young people within the church? Not just a young one today, but even we see some of the other people, they behave the same way. So what do you think should be some of the mechanism that need to be put in place?
Okay, Myers, thank you. It all boils down to the family because the family, we are not training the children. How many families, members or families in Liberia, Christian family that are in a constant habit of, teaching their children the Bible? How many families, members, or how many families head in Liberia that can take their children to Bible studies, that teaching their children Christian principles, Christian, or values? So if the children are taught those things, if they grow up in the church, they are going to know who is the pastor. They are going to know the importance of the pastor. They are going to know, the importance of the church leader. But everyone is just growing up. There is no restriction, there is no education, there is no training. Look at our fellow Muslims brothers. Look at their dome. Look at their religion. I lived in a Muslim country before. So you will find out that the child will be coming up, every day it is part of their normal routine that you must recite, of verses in the Quran. So it
Sure,
is
sure.
either written on a plank or wooden something or written on something. The child or the children will be reciting that. You know what? You know what it does? When that child or that children growing with that religious training, they when they get big, they know who the imam is. They know who is the imam. So you will not see them messing around the imam. You will not see them disrespecting the imam because they have grown up, in that training. So I think the Christians, faith, the Christian religion, our Christians, our family, we should try to adapt that in our home so that we can help the children, to grow up better. Because the churches, today too, even though they have their flaw, but there are a lot of weight, there are a lot of challenges. Even though there are some mistakes too, from the pastors, from the church leaders, and other things like that. And the church too should play, a role in the life of the family, in the life of the children. But they cannot do it too without the support from the family. So I think it's a collective thing that is a collective effort that must be made, and so that we can see our best to eradicate some of those mistakes or disrespect that we see in our churches. So thank you. That's my take on that.
Thank you so much, Mr. Gibson. Like you usually, you said, we have to look at this very carefully. I told our people, the Bible, everything you want to know about life, the Bible teaches it, right? And we face the challenges, our people back home just look at one side, of the Bible. They just look at the spiritual life of people and not looking at also their moral, life, their moral values. They don't teach these things because a lot of people they just ask somebody, why are you going to church for? What have you learned? And other things. People will not be able to tell you. Like you talk about the Bible study, the Sunday school. I think that these are messages our Sunday school teachers, also need to be bringing. We are the Bible is very big. Let's look at some of the characters in the Bible. See the kind of lifestyles they live. See their moral lifestyles. See the way they prepare themselves. Like we're talking about intergenerational ethics. See the forms and manner in which they prepare themselves and how they were able to reach, to arrive. Right. Look at the guy we call Dave. How you call him Joseph. Right. We talk about. You look at the life story of Joseph. See how Joseph were. Right, before he become that kind of person that God have destined him for. Right? And there are other people. Look at even Solomon. All these people look at their ethical lives, right? Or their moral life. Look at it and see the forms and manner in which they were going. Sometimes some of them, they were really listening, right? They felt like they had their power and what have you. But at the point of time, they try to understand that, they need to learn certain things because the future ahead of them, and the only way they can reach that future or those things that has been destined for them, unless they put in, time and doing the rightful thing, or else it's going to be problem. So our churches leaders who are watching us tonight, we want to say let's take this very very serious because the church also in our society play a very major role. Right, Mr. Gibson, back home you will see sometimes when there is a sport organized by the churches and other things, you will see church member when something just park out there, you see the kind of languages that they have been putting out, those profane languages that they put out, and sometimes people will be wondering, oh, after that sister, this one can be singing to the church, after that sister, this one can be singing to the church. And but if that person were learning all the ethical things, right, if they were learning all these things, you think they would have done those things then? No, they won't have done it because sometimes it is not just the school, not just the parents, but the church also being a religious side of the life of the person, or the church, the mosque, whatever. Like you are stating, you talk about our Muslims brothers and sisters. You see how the Muslim people bring their children up, where they pray I think 3 or 4 times a day. You have to do everything. Not one you have to miss, right? How many of or like you said, our parents and guardians, how many of them take, us to Sunday school, Bible studies, to let because that way we interact, that way we do these things. How many of us do it? We don't. We just play, deaf ear to ear, and today has been a serious problem in our society. But we want to say a very big thank you. We are just laying the basis, and we hope that Friday and then that on Saturday we're going to go very deeper. So I would like to ask Mr. Gibson for your parting statement or any other thing you wish to have said, and then you did not say it. You can also, yeah, do that here for us tonight before we call this tonight.
Yeah, okay. Thank you, Myers. Yeah, so my people, we talking about intergenerational ethics. So what do we mean when we say intergenerational? It means connecting a connection like between a group of people to another group. So it's like maybe connecting or what transferring one generations moral value to another generation, just something like that we are talking about, and the ethical values that must be observed to preserve the future. So that's what we're talking about, intergenerational ethics. So we have actions, we have characters, we have behaviors, we have everything. So in short, we are saying all of those things, it should be well looked at before implementation, because whatever actions that you exhibit today, it must leave a mark. Whether that mark is, whether it is destructive, it's going to destroy the future. If it is promotive, it's going to promote the future. So that's what we're saying. So in order to preserve our future, in order to have a better future for our next generations, our present actions, it should, it should be our actions of values or actions of impartations, actions of, some everything good. So that's what we are talking about. And thank you for joining. We are going to come back here on Friday to that deeper into this discussion. So thank you, Myers, for the opportunity, and thanks to the listening audience.
Thank you so much, Mr. Lee T. Gibson, and thanks to all of our followers. We say continue to follow the Maris TV as we continue to do what we are called to do on this platform. We want to say congratulations again to all of our graduates of the University of Liberia. We want to say congratulations to you, and we hope that you are preparing yourself for the future. This is why we brought this team up or this topic tonight, talking about intergenerational ethics. Because once you are well prepared, your minds and everything is well prepared, you will know how to engage the future. So I believe that we have all of our people are went through a word of preparation of their mind, and while you are come out now, while you have come out right now, it is time that you make some positive impact in society. Like when you shall have lived, people will say, yes, our brother were here and these are things that they did. So I want to say thank you to everybody. We hope to be back here tomorrow. Do have yourself a wonderful night as we meet again. Thank you so much, Mr. Gibson.